Heartwarming truth exposed. I discovered my parents sold our home for my brother's luxury trip. Emma's heart raced as she pushed open the door, the faint creak of the old wood echoing with memories. Her breath caught in her throat at the sight before her. Cardboard boxes towered in the living room, a stark invasion of her family's warm space. Sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating the chaos her treasured childhood moments trapped inside dusty cartons. Whispers floated across the room, her parents' hushed tones framed with a kind of energy that sent a chill down her spine. Her mother glanced briefly at her, and Emma felt a tightening in her chest. "Mom, what's happening?" She could barely whisper, her voice trembling with the gravity of the moment. "We're just—" Her mother's gaze drifted away, panic flickering behind her eyes. "Clearing some things out." "Clearing? That looks more like packing up." Emma snapped, a surge of anger sparking within her. What were they doing? "Are we moving?" Before her mother could answer, a stray comment from her father cut through the air like a knife. "It's for the trip, Sarah. The Europe trip we planned for Jake." Those words landed heavy. Emma felt the ground beneath her shift. "Wait, you sold our house for Jake?" The question hung in the air. "It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," her father defended, but it felt like a betrayal. Memories flooded back, the smell of ginger cookies in the kitchen, the late-night study sessions, her favorite corner by the window where she dreamed of the future. All traded for a trip? A tight knot formed in her stomach. The realization hit with force. She was the diligent one, the quiet achiever, yet here she stood, invisible. Rising anger surged through her veins. Clenching her fists, she turned away without waiting for more. How could they choose Jake again? Days passed in a fog of turmoil. It was at the community center that Emma found a glimmer of solace. She met Tom, a local veteran whose weathered hands told stories of valor. Mornings were spent together, sharing moments of determination and grit, the fire in his eyes igniting something in her. He spoke of sacrifices made for love, of dreams pursued against all odds. Each word struck her heart, filling the void left by betrayal. Emma's breath quickened as the Maplewood Fair approached. The annual gathering was the heartbeat of her community. She almost skipped it, caught in a swirl of emotions, yet something pulled her toward it. As festival lights twinkled overhead and laughter echoed through the air, she joined in the preparations, hoping to escape her reality. It was there, amidst the bustling crowds and cheerful spirit, that she was reminded of what truly mattered. Conversations flowed easily, and for a moment, warmth spread through her, washing over her fears. But then, the name was spoken, a name tied to her family history. The revelation dropped like a stone in her gut. Could her desire for independence coexist with the ties that bound her family? The joyous atmosphere shifted abruptly as these questions loomed. With fireworks bursting against the night sky, Emma felt the weight of the moment press down. Could she stand up for herself without tearing her family apart? The answer teetered on the edge of her heart, wrapped in tension and unresolved longing. What would she choose as the night unfolded before her? Emma stood in the crowded fairground, the bright lights of the rides swirling above her, momentarily distracting her from the turmoil inside. The laughter of children blended with the calls of vendors, and yet she felt adrift in an ocean of noise. Each shout of joy resonated hollowly in her ears. With a rush of determination, she stepped away from the fairest heart, seeking solace away from the crowd. She wandered deeper into the fairgrounds, and the sounds faded into whispers, her pulse echoing the frantic thoughts in her mind. The memory of her home, packed into boxes for her brother's expedition, seemed to haunt her every step. "Hey, Emma!" A familiar voice broke her thoughts. It was Mia, her childhood friend, excitement lighting up her face. "You made it. I was worried you'd miss it." Emma managed a weak smile, but Mia's eyes flickered with concern. "You okay? You don't look well." Emma bit her lip, uncertainty twisting in her gut. Should she share her pain, expose her frayed heart, or protect herself from the obvious pity? It's been a rough week, you know," she said lamely. Mia stepped closer, her expression softening. "Want to talk about it? We can grab some cotton candy." It always makes me feel better. The offer tugged at Emma's heart. The sweet, sugary memory of summers past hung bittersweet in the air. "No, I think I just need a moment," she replied gently. With a nod of understanding, Mia stepped back. Emma turned, seeking a quiet corner, anything to anchor her swirling thoughts. She found a grassy knoll nearby, surrounded by the sounds of the fair alive yet distant. Sitting down, she gazed into the heart of the fair, her mind's eye unwinding the tangled thoughts. Every corner of that space carried memories of childhood filled with family laughter, late-night talks with Jake, their shared dreams crashing around her like waves. But that foundation was now shaken, crumbling under the weight of betrayal. Who had she become in their eyes? The forgotten daughter? Her phone buzzed, breaking the stillness. A message from Jake, oblivious to her internal storm, flashed on the screen. "Can't wait for the trip. You should come with us." The words exploded inside her like fireworks, igniting a cocktail of emotions: sadness, anger, and an unbearable sense of isolation. How could he be so carefree while she clutched the remnants of their shared childhood? The fair around her pulsed with life while she felt more detached than ever. Clenching her fists, Emma's heart began racing as a peak of bravery sparked within. What was holding her back? The thought raced through her mind. How long would she let her family's decisions dictate her worth? As she pondered these questions, a shadow fell over her, and she glanced up to see Tom standing there, regret etched on his face. "Thought I might find you here," he said, sitting beside her. "That obvious?" Emma chuckled, but her voice wavered. Tom looked thoughtful. "Sometimes it's worth standing your ground. You have a voice, Emma." His words sent waves of warmth through her. She opened her mouth to reply, but just then, a skyrocket of color burst overhead, illuminating the sky in brilliance. It was a moment she would never forget. Everything felt charged and alive. She turned to Tom, shocked by the possibility of standing up not just for herself, but also against the tide of expectations that had flooded her life. The fair had become a symbol now, one that would tip her world either way. Would she seize this moment to redefine herself? Could she face her parents, her brother, and demand a place of her own? The fireworks faded into silence, but the storm in her heart surged, demanding resolution. Emma swallowed hard as she turned to Tom, determination brightening her eyes. "I want to stand up for what I deserve." Just as she felt a surge of confidence, the crowd around them erupted with applause, catching her breath with a wave of exhilaration. Would it be enough to change her future? As the night deepened, the embers of hope flickered in her chest, igniting a fierce resolve. But would she find the strength to take that leap? Emma's heart raced as she faced Tom. Her words danced on the tip of her tongue, alive with promise. But then, silence settled in, punctuated only by the fading echoes of fireworks. Fear gnawed at her insides. What if she wasn't ready? What if standing up meant losing everything? They were family, after all. "Emma?" Tom's voice cut through her fog of uncertainty, gentle yet firm. "You know I'm here for you, right? Whatever it is you want to do." Taking a deep breath, she nodded. "I know," she replied, her voice quaking slightly. It's complicated, Tom." The crowd began to disperse, each person swaying toward lights and laughter, unaware of the storm brewing within her. Emma felt like an island, untouched by the current buzzing around her. She wished she could be among them, but the shadows of betrayal loomed too large. "Do you want to go? We can still have fun," Tom suggested, but Emma caught a glimpse of concern etched across his face. "Tom, what if I just can't anymore?" The words slipped out before she could stop them, consuming her with vulnerability. He leaned in, lowering his voice. "You can't keep pushing down how you feel. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way." Those words, a flicker of light in her labyrinth of emotion, gave her pause. She thought of Jake's offhand message, his excitement as he prepared for the trip that would take him far away from their childhood home. Based on that message, she was nothing but an afterthought in his new world. The thought burned her deeper than any firework, more potent than the sugary cotton candy she had turned down. "I will need to talk to them," she responded, more to herself than Tom. Tom turned toward her, his eyes searching hers for clarity. Tonight, she declared, newfound strength surging through her veins. They need to understand the impact of their choices. In that moment, resolve coiled tightly within her, wrapping around the fragile threads of her heart. She stood up abruptly, determination bubbling to the surface. Tom mirrored her action, a look of admiration mingling with worry crossing his features. "Let us go then," he said resolutely. "I'll be right by your side. You don't have to do this alone." Her heart swelled with gratitude. Tears prickled at the corners of her eyes, not from sadness but from the dawning awareness of her worth. They walked together, weaving through the dispersing crowd, the sights and sounds of the fair swirling around them like an unending kaleidoscope. As they neared the exit, Tom glanced at her. "Are you sure you're ready to confront them? What if they push back?" Emma's thoughts darted briefly to potential outcomes. Caught in an emotional tug-of-war, she bit her lip, contemplating the risk of rejection for the sake of her own truth. But then she met Tom's gaze, steady and full of faith. The risk seemed a small price to pay for a chance at liberation. "Whatever happens, I have to try," she replied, her voice firmer now, an unbreakable resolve anchoring her. "And if they don't understand?" he asked gently. "Then I'll find the strength in that, too," she stated, and for the first time that night, she genuinely believed it. With heavy but hopeful hearts, they finally reached her family's house silent under the weight of impending confrontation. Emma paused, her breath hitching in her throat. This was the moment where she could reclaim her voice, her truth. What lay behind that door could change everything. Taking a deep breath, she reached for the doorknob. Would they listen? Would they hear her? The answers felt just out of reach, but she had to open it, no matter how daunting the truth within. With a swift turn of the doorknob, the door creaked open, unveiling a living room that felt both familiar and foreign to Emma. Shadows stretched across the walls. The remnants of the evening's celebrations flickered through the window. The empty space hung heavy with unspoken words, and she stepped inside, heart thundering in her chest. "Mom? Dad?" Her voice trembled, a soft echo in the silence. She could already feel the weight of their gaze, their surprise at her unexpected arrival. Tom stood just behind her, a solid support, a reassuring presence as fear and anticipation twisted within her. Her mother emerged from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. "Emma, you're home early. Is everything okay?" Concern shadowed her features, merging with a hint of guilt that struck at Emma's heart. "Yeah, I need to talk." She glanced at Tom, and he gave her an encouraging nod. Confidence flooded back into her as she steeled herself. "About what, honey?" Her father joined them, emerging from the hallway, a curious frown etching his brow. Emma swallowed hard. "About Jake and the house." Just saying those words felt like a crack in the dam, water surging to break free. Her parents exchanged a wary glance, and Emma's heart thudded against her ribcage. "I know you sold our home," she said, her voice rising with each word, a mix of anger and hurt bubbling to the surface. "For Jake's trip." Her mother's expression faltered. "Emma, we thought you'd understand." Emma interrupted, her voice breaking slightly. "You thought this was okay? That taking away my home, my security, was justified?" Each word ignited a fresh wave of pain, but the truth needed to be unleashed. "Sweetheart, we were just trying to help your brother. His future. It's important." Her father's voice trembled slightly but held a hint of defensiveness. Emma bottled her feelings for too long. "What about my future? I'm standing here, feeling completely invisible. Just because you decided he was worth more? I feel betrayed." Her breath escaped in ragged bursts, anger giving way to sorrow. Tom stepped forward, his presence steady, and placed a hand on her shoulder. "The thing is, life isn't about choosing favorites," he said gently, meeting her parents' eyes. "You can't place one child's dreams above another's without consequences. You need to listen to Emma." The room grew thick with tension, the silence stretching long. Emma's heart raced as her mother looked at her, her eyes glistening. It was the first sign of realization. "We didn't think," she murmured, the truth dawning upon her. We assumed. Assuming things never gets anyone anywhere. Emma snapped back. But the anger was fading, replaced with a burning ache that only the truth could mend. You made a choice that impacted all of us without even asking how I felt. I'm sorry, her mother finally said. The words struck home, reverberating in the stillness. We were wrong. We should have talked to you first. I thought we were a family. I thought I could count on you. Emma struggled to hold back tears, feeling both anger and the first wisps of hope. Maybe there was a chance if they were willing to listen now. Tom squeezed her shoulder, an unvoiced promise of support. A tangible shift filled the air, the past mistakes swirling around, waiting to be acknowledged. I need you to hear me, Emma continued, her voice steadier. Not just today but moving forward. Her father nodded slowly, a deep furrow etched across his brow. What do you want, Emma? How can we make this right? In that moment, a possibility unfurled before her, an opportunity for healing, for dialogue, for a new beginning. Emma inhaled deeply, ready to reveal her heart, to lay down every unspoken worry. What I really want, she paused, glancing at Tom for reassurance, is to be seen. The words hung in the air, charged with intensity. What they would say next could determine everything. Could they really turn this painful moment into something meaningful? Emma felt her heart steady, preparing for whatever came next. But what she didn't expect was the weight of the next revelation. Emma held her breath, the silence wrapping around her like a heavy blanket. Anticipation twisted in her stomach. Could this moment truly shift something deep within her family? Her father shifted his weight, exhaling slowly. Emma, we haven't been fair to you or to us. We thought we were doing what was best. Best for who? Emma shot back, though her anger had softened just a bit. It seems like it was just for Jake. The name floated between them. Heavy with implications, her mother opened her mouth, closed it. You're right, she finally admitted, a cracking edge to her voice. We've been blind. Behind Emma, Tom reacted, nodding in silent encouragement, his hand still resting on her shoulder. Blind to the fact that this isn't about possessions or money, Emma said, desperation creeping back into her voice. It's about trust and feeling like I matter. She looked at each of them in turn, searching their faces for understanding. I want to feel respected in our family. I can see why you'd feel betrayed, her father said, his brows knitting together. Selling the house. To fund a trip for your brother, it was wrong. We thought we were guiding him to success, but we failed to see how it hurt you. A lump formed in Emma's throat. She could feel the walls of tension cracking just a little more. I was scared, she admitted, surprised by her own vulnerability. Felt like I was being pushed aside. My dreams don't matter to you if you're putting him first. Tom squeezed her shoulder again, his warmth like a gentle reminder that she wasn't alone. Her mother's tears began to flow freely. Oh, Emma, I'm so sorry. I thought I was protecting you both. I was wrong. A flood of emotions swirled inside Emma, confusion mixing with flashes of relief. Maybe this was the breakthrough they needed. I just want our family back, she murmured. I want my voice to matter, too. Her father took a deep breath, desperation and determination etched into his features. What do we need to change, Emma? I want to make things right, whatever it takes. The sincerity in his voice washed over her. Hope began to flicker, even amidst the grief. I think we need to talk more, openly, she replied, her voice steadying. About our dreams, our needs, about everything. And not just when things are tough, Tom added, giving her a proud smile. Emma glanced at him, heartwarming gratitude swelling inside her. Yeah. Just be there for each other. No more secrets. Agreed, her father said, though his gaze lingered on the floor. No more choosing favorites. He glanced up, eyes glistening. We'll work to rebuild our family together. The warmth in the room shifted, found a new pulse. It was just a glimmer, but a flicker of trust began to rise. But, Emma, her mother interjected, her voice quaking. There's more to this. Emma felt her heart drop. More? Her dad shared a look with her mom, the kind of glance that sealed heavy secrets. "We weren't only selling the house for Jake's trip, what do you mean?" Emma asked, her voice trailing off, apprehension washing over her. "It's complicated, and we should have told you sooner," her mother whispered, her eyes wide with fear. Tom's grip tightened on Emma's shoulder. "What else are you hiding?" Emma questioned, feeling the fear clawing back inside. Her father inhaled deeply. "It's about the debt and a promise we made." Emma's heart raced, pounding against her chest in fear. What could possibly be worse than taking away her home? As her parents exchanged tense whispers, Emma braced for whatever truth came next. The weight of her world hung precariously on the edge of that unspoken revelation. Would it tear them apart or bridge the gap that had grown so wide? She had to know, and the answer was just about to surface. Emma felt the breath catch in her throat, her world narrowing down to the two faces that carried so much weight. "What do you mean by a promise?" she asked, her voice trembling. Her mother exchanged a worried glance with her father, like they were playing a serious game of charades that Emma wasn't involved in. "It's about the loans," she finally said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Your father and we took out loans for Jake's college fund. When things became tough, we thought selling the house would help cover the debt." Emma's chest tightened. "You sold the house to pay off his college debts?" A slow nod from her father seemed to echo in the stillness of the room. "We thought we could manage everything. We thought we had time." "What does that mean?" Emma was losing control over her emotions, frustration spilling over. "You planned to get rid of our home to support him, all while I had no idea?" Her father's voice broke. "We didn't want you to worry. You had enough on your plate." "Enough on my plate?" Emma felt hot tears prick at her eyes. "You both made decisions without talking to me at all. I was just pushed aside again." Tom's steady presence beside her felt essential. He was her anchor, grounding her when her emotions threatened to spiral. "It's not just about the house. It's about being honest with each other, right?" he said softly. Her mother wiped her tears, catching Emma's gaze. "You're right, Emma. We thought protecting you meant keeping the truth from you." Emma's heart raced, the weight of betrayal mixing with the hurt of being in the dark for so long. "So what am I supposed to do now?" A heaviness filled the air, pressing down like a thick fog. Her father finally gathered himself. "We need to start fresh, rebuild. This can't be the end. But we need your help too." "Help?" Emma felt a bitter edge creeping into her voice. "After everything? Why should I help rebuild when you've both turned your backs on me?" Silence punctuated the exchange, and Emma could feel the gap growing wider, even as she longed for a bridge. "Because we want to fix this," her mother pleaded, her voice trembling. "No more secrets. We want a family where everyone's dreams matter, including yours. But how do I trust after this?" Emma's voice wavered, the remnants of her anger mingling with pain. Her mother stepped forward, the anguish visible in her eyes. "Trust takes time, Emma. We understand that now. Just know we'll do anything to regain it." Tom shifted his weight, turning to Emma. "You know there's a chance to make things better, right? This is your family. You have the power to guide it." Emma looked between her parents, finding a pool of hopeful desperation in their tears. It was an odd feeling, seeing them so vulnerable, so open, but she was terrified. "What if I can't?" "Then we'll keep trying," her father replied, voice low yet firm, the sincerity resonating deep within Emma's soul. As hope flickered, uncertain yet real, Emma dared to ask the question lingering behind her thoughts. "What happens if we don't? If I can't forgive?" The room felt charged with potential, a crossroads they stood at together. How fragile the moment was, yet how important. Emma took a shaky breath, filled with the weight of her next words. "If we don't try, then we might all end up as strangers." Facing what she had to do next made her stomach churn again. The conversation was just beginning, and each revelation laid bare the foundation of their family. But what if there were even more secrets hidden in the shadows, waiting for another moment to emerge? The quiet that fell over the room was thick, almost suffocating. Emma's heart raced as she struggled to process everything. The thought of her childhood home filled with memories, laughter, and even arguments now belonged to someone else. Breathing deeply, she tried to steady the whirlwind inside her head, but the uncertainty brushed against her like icy fingers. Emma, her father ventured cautiously, maybe we can make a plan together. We can brainstorm ways to work through this. We need you to be part of our family again. The idea of them sitting together, creating a plan, felt surreal. Emma glanced around the living room, devoid of familiar touches that had once made it home. How can we rebuild something that was lost? She asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Her mother stepped forward, laying a gentle hand on Emma's shoulder. We start by putting the truth in the light. We need to talk about what's really going on, about Jake, about money, everything. It struck Emma how their entire family dynamic had revolved around Jake. It felt like it had always been him at the center of every decision. And what about me? She questioned, her brows knitting closely together. What about my dreams and my education? Am I only here to fill the gaps? No, that's not true, Tom interjected, his eyes blazing with determination. You matter just as much. We're all in this together, Emma. Whatever you choose to do, we will support you. Her chest tightened again. Could she trust Tom? Could she trust her parents? She stole a glance at them, their faces reflecting uncertainty and a plea for connection. I don't know if I can just jump back into this, she said slowly. I'm scared. You've held so many secrets from me. What happens if I trust you again? And it all falls apart. Then we work harder, her father replied, with a warmth that felt like sunlight breaking through clouds. You have to know that we realize where we went wrong. We'll face the challenges as a family with transparency, without hiding things. As the weight of their words settled in, Emma felt a flicker of something new. You mean it? You really want to work on this together? Her mother nodded, her eyes glistening with ferocity. We will share everything. It's not easy to admit, but we are all afraid. I don't want to hide any longer. We owe you that much. A flood of emotions surged within Emma: fear, hope, anger, love. It was a confusing blend, yet it felt strangely revitalizing. Sharing truth could break barriers, so perhaps the shadows wouldn't win this time. Okay, she said finally, her voice steadier than before. I'll give you a chance, but it's gonna take time. I can't just flip a switch. Her parents exchanged relieved glances, the tension lifting slightly. We understand, Tom said. And whatever it takes, we're here with you. We'll begin by discussing our finances, where everything stands, and definitely address Jake's expectations too. We're all a part of this journey. As they began to talk about moving forward, Emma realized she needed to ask one more thing. But what exactly happens if more secrets come out? If there are things you didn't tell me this time? The air thickened again, and she could see uncertainty dance in her parents' eyes. Then we face them, her father said slowly, together, no matter how difficult. With those words hanging in the air, Emma knew they were bound to hit more bumps along the way. But she was ready for the truth, even if it was hidden behind another door, waiting to be opened. Let us just hope, she muttered, that there aren't too many more surprises. But within her, a quiet voice warned her that sometimes, what lurks beneath can be darker than the light. The next few days were a blur for Emma. The intensity of their discussions flowed like a tide, ebbing and flowing with moments of hope and fear. It wasn't just words sharing a plan. It was a life reassembling itself in bits and pieces. In the evenings, they gathered at the kitchen table, cluttered with stacks of papers and old photographs. Each photo felt like a portal to a time that was simpler, before everything had been shaken to its core. Emma watched her parents navigate through their history with a mix of caution and longing. They spoke about debts, future goals, and yes, Jake, whose shadow seemed to loom larger than ever. She could see how her father's face tightened at the mention of his name. He always wanted the best of everything, her father admitted one night, rubbing the back of his neck nervously. But maybe we sacrificed too much in trying to give it to him. That admission hung thick in the air. Emma's heart pounded. So, you did sell the house for him? She asked, unable to keep the bite from her voice. Her mother flinched as if struck. It wasn't just for him, Emma. We thought it would set us all free of the stress, but we didn't think of you. Emma turned to look out the window, the night sky heavy with clouds, mirroring her tangled feelings. I just want us to be transparent, to be a real family again. She dropped her chin to her chest. But how do you trust someone who hides things? A pause filled the space like an uninvited guest before Tom spoke up. We're not perfect, and I know that trust is a delicate thing. But we're working on being better for you. Emma dared to meet their eyes, searching for sincerity. So what happens if we open those doors, and it becomes chaotic again? Her mother placed her hand on Emma's. Then we open more doors together. No more secrets, Emma. No more excuses. Yet, that evening, Emma lay awake in her room, poised between the comfort of sleep and the restless storm of her thoughts. New questions began to bubble up. What if they truly were done hiding? Would it mean facing their broken family ties directly? Or did it mean opening wounds she wasn't sure she was ready to confront? Could there really be a future beyond the currents of their past? Days turned into weeks, and slowly she found herself engaging more with her parents. They listened, asked questions, let silences stretch. Each conversation, a small brick laid in the foundation of a new kind of relationship. They danced around the sensitive issues, the vulnerabilities above all, until one night, as they all sat back around the kitchen table, she felt a shift. Mom, what's the real story with Jake? Emma probed, her heart racing in anticipation of the truth's release. Her mother inhaled deeply, panic floating across her features. He hasn't been truthful about his finances. Emma. We've kept him at a distance to protect you. This wasn't news to Emma. She had felt the rumbles beneath the surface. So you knew. You all knew, she exclaimed, a mix of anger and disbelief coursing through her veins. Why didn't you just tell me? Tom's voice cut through the tension, firm and steady. Because we thought we were defending you from the mess, but in reality we just added to it. Emma trembled at the cacophony of emotions stirring inside her. What else had they hidden? What more was there to learn? And would the fallout be worth it? With uncertainty swirling like a storm within her, she wondered how much more revelation would be unleashed across this fragile family. It was then she realized the deeper questions were looming ever closer. Would understanding J's truth save them? Or was it simply another shadow in their hearts, waiting to dance into the light? Emma could almost feel the shadows stretching, threatening to swallow her whole again. With her gaze fixed on her parents, she breathed out, making the commitment to walk this uncertain path. So if we're facing Jake's truth, who else do we have to address next? The silence that followed felt like the calm before a storm, leaving all three of them in anxious anticipation, hearts pounding, as the air thickened again with truth and the unknown. The next morning arrived with sunlight streaming through Emma's window. She felt strangely renewed. Maybe it was the commitment to facing their family's truth, or perhaps the hope that came with transparency. Nonetheless, there was an undercurrent of dread as she made her way to the kitchen. Her parents were already at the table, their expressions a mix of resolve and trepidation. They had clearly spent the morning wrestling with what lay ahead. Emma's stomach churned as she remembered her question. It felt like a loaded gun. We need to talk more about Jake, she began, her voice steadier than she felt. About everything. Tom nodded, but it was her mother who looked apprehensive. Emma, it won't be easy. There's a lot we've kept under wraps. Then let us get it all out in the open, she insisted, her heart pounding louder with each syllable. Stop dancing around it. I want to know what you two are really afraid of. Silence hung in the air. Emma could sense her parents exchanging a silent conversation, weighing the ramifications of their words. Finally, her mother reached for Emma's hand. Jake has been struggling for a while. It's more than just money. He made some choices that have affected us all. Emma crossed her arms defensively. What choices? Why is it always about protecting him? Don't I deserve to know how those choices hurt us? Her father exhaled slowly. It's complicated. He fell into a lifestyle that didn't fit habits we were trying to shield you from. We thought we could keep you safe by keeping you in the dark. The burn of frustration flared in Emma's chest. Safe or isolated? Recognize how this impacts all of us. You sold our home. I had to change schools. Try to make new friends while everyone else was having the kind of life I thought was mine. Tom flinched at the rawness in Emma's voice. We know we made mistakes. But please understand, we did it believing it would create a better life for you. Emma released a deep breath. So what's next? Do I have to sit through Thanksgiving dinners pretending everything is fine while imagining all the sacrifices you've made? Her mother squeezed her hand tighter. We want you to understand, but it's complicated. Jake was trying to chase things he thought would fill a void, vices that took him deeper into trouble. We thought he could turn it around, did he? Emma interjected, a lump forming in her throat. Is he even trying? No, Tom admitted, shaking his head. He hasn't taken responsibility. This isn't just about the house or money anymore. It's about a family in a spiral, and the consequences of Jake's choices have put us all at risk. Emma closed her eyes, letting the words wash over her like a wave that churned her insides. Felt like the betrayal ran deeper than she had thought. Why didn't you just come to me? Because we were scared of shattering the little bit of normal we had left. Her mother confessed, her voice thick with emotion. We didn't want you to worry about things you shouldn't have to bear. I'm already bearing it. Emma snapped, the tears pricking at her eyes. Why can't you see that? Hiding the truth doesn't make it go away. It just makes it worse. It was then they heard a car pull into the driveway. Emma's heart raced. Is that him? She breathed, a mix of anxiety and dread filling her chest. Her parents exchanged a concerned look, realization dawning among them. The moment stood still like a ticking clock, each second drawing them closer to confrontation. As the door opened, Emma gripped the table, waiting for a face that she both missed and feared. Would Jake be the key to ruptured relationships healing? Or would his arrival only add weight to the storm building within their family? The uncertainty loomed like dark clouds overhead, tightening around them. The front door opened, and a familiar voice called out, "Hey, everyone." Emma inhaled slowly, steeling herself for what was to come. Could she endure not just a family reunion but the truth behind Jake's return? Would today mark a turning point or just another chapter of chaos? Emma felt the cold grip of anxiety as Jake stepped inside. The sight of her brother, with his laid-back smile and carefree demeanor, struck a nerve. He looked oblivious to the emotional storm swirling just beneath the surface, a stark contrast to the tension filling the room. Hey, what's the occasion? Jake asked, his eyes darting between Emma and their parents. Sit down, Jake, their father urged, his voice steady but low. Oh, this sounds serious, Jake joked, but the laughter faded when he noticed the worried expressions. Emma clenched her fists, feeling a swell of emotions threatening to erupt. It is serious, Jake. We need to talk. About everything. Jake furrowed his brow, shifting uncomfortably in his chair. What's going on? It's about the choices you've made and how they've affected us all, Emma said, forcing calmness through her trembling voice. I think I've heard enough, Jake retorted, his tone defensive, but the uncertainty in his gaze betrayed him. No, you haven't heard nearly enough, Emma snapped, fueled by pent-up frustration. This isn't just about you anymore. Her parents looked at each other, a momentary flash of concern crossing their faces. They had seen the tension build over the weeks. The emotional weight was heavy for all of them. Every choice you've made has rippled through our family. Our home was sold for your trip. Did you even think of that? Emma's voice cracked, the hurt pouring out with every syllable. The silence that followed felt suffocating. Whoa, wait, Jake said, running a hand through his hair. You sold the house? Enough with your jokes, Emma shouted, tears pricking her eyes. Our security meant nothing to you if it meant keeping you happy. Jake opened his mouth to protest, but her father beat him to it. Jake, we thought we were doing what was best for you. We sacrificed everything. Best for me? Or best for your guilt? Emma challenged, her heart racing. You both hid things from me. You thought protecting me from the truth would help me, but it only built walls between us. Her mother spoke up, her voice breaking. Emma, you have to understand. We were trying to manage a situation we didn't know how to fix. By just ignoring me? The air felt charged with unspoken emotions. Jake's nonchalance crumbled, leaving a raw nerve exposed. I didn't ask for this, he barked, the anger slipping through. No, but you made choices, Jake. Reckless choices. Emma replied, a mixture of frustration and sadness washing over her. And now it's affecting all of us. I feel like I don't even know who you are anymore. Jake's facade cracked, his gaze dropping to the table. I never meant to hurt you. Behind Emma, Tom shifted, ready to step up. You need to take responsibility, Jake. This is your family, and your actions matter. Emma met Tom's reassuring stare, drawing strength from his support. Do you even want to be part of this family? She asked, her heart pounding as she finally voiced what had been clawing at her. Do you care? I do, okay? Jake shouted, desperation breaking through his easy demeanor. I don't know how to fix things. You start by being honest, their father said firmly. No more hiding, no more secrets. A moment of silence hung over them. Emma felt the weight of truth suffocating. Yet she could sense the possibility of healing beginning to flicker. I've messed up, and I see that now, Jake conceded softly. But can we just try? Can we work on this together? Emma hesitated, emotions churning. Would she be able to let go? Would the pain of betrayal eventually ease? Trying is the first step, she murmured, nerves stirring. But she felt a spark of hope flickering inside her heart. But we have to be open. No more secrets or it won't work. Agreed, her father spoke. We're all in this together now. Yes, her mother added, tears slipping down her cheeks. It's time to confront our mess head-on. Jake nodded, emotion spilling over into his eyes. I'm sorry for everything. I really want us to be a family again. Emma met his gaze, vulnerability bridging the chasm between them. Then let us do this, she breathed, hope threading through her heart. Let us actually face it together. As the laughter from outside drifted through the open window, mingling with the last remnants of evening light, Emma felt the warmth of a new beginning envelop them. A fragile foundation was laid, one marked by honesty, understanding, and the courage to rebuild. Perhaps this moment could spark a transformation, not only for her family but for herself. She took a deep breath, feeling optimism replace doubt. They had a long journey ahead, full of uncharted waters, but for the first time, she felt they might just weather the storm together. Emma stole a glance at Tom and saw a shared smile that conveyed an unspoken promise. They would navigate this path, hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next. And as they embraced the reality of a less-than-perfect life ahead, Emma knew that she would stand strong, voice unwavering, ready to reclaim her place within her family. Because this time, everything was finally coming into focus. Now, as we close this chapter, don't let this moment pass. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Show your support, and keep the light shining on these narratives. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this emotional ending. Share your thoughts. We want to hear from you, and please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us uplift our community together.